Episode 5, it's the halfway point. Let's go. Please be advised that there are spoilers ahead related to the property being watched and or discussed in this video. And please note, this reaction does not contain a picture-in-picture view with the audio from the episode. Instead, this video was designed as a watch-along style. Click on the link displayed on your screen to find out about 3 easy ways to watch this episode with me using your own devices. Hello! Welcome back to my channel, everyone. This is Asha Media TV. For those of you that are new here, welcome. This is my little channel where I like to watch, react, and review a small variety of stuff related to science fiction, fantasy, and comic books. So in today's video, I'm going to be catching up with the latest episode from Apple TV, the series Foundation, and I'm going to be catching up with episode 5 titled Upon Awakening. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, I'm just going to quickly remind you that I am not familiar with the books. I'm a normie, so to speak, when it comes to this series. However, I don't mind book spoilers related to each episode that I watch because I do not have any intentions on reading the books anytime soon, so I'm totally fine with being educated by my viewers about book details if necessary and if it's relevant to the episode that I'm watching. So I'm just reassuring you that you're more than welcome to share your thoughts in the comment section with book spoilers. Okay, now I'm going to get ready to press play on episode 5, and if you are going to watch along with me, let's get ready to count down to play. If not, feel free, of course, to skip on over to the review/afterthoughts portion of this video, and hopefully I'll see you then. But I'm going to go and press play right now, so here I go. Okay, so I have watched the previously on part without recording it because I realized, well, you probably don't care for that. You probably just care to watch the episode with me. Should have realized it earlier on. My apologies, but yeah. So I'm starting at the point where the intro has passed. So I skipped over the intro and the episode is going to begin. So that's at 2 minutes and 50 seconds, 250. And if you're ready, let's count down to play, shall we? Okay. Starting at 3, 2, 1, play. Black hole would be frightening for anyone. Sounds frightening. Scary movie. Mm-mm. Even as a little girl, her senses were strong. Okay, so... Oh, I was literally going to say, we're in the past here, obviously. All right, so we're going to get more backstory about Gaal and her culture. Upon awakening, indeed. Forbidden activity. What? But someone's doing something they shouldn't be doing. And they send out three girls to go check it out. So acolyte, I guess, is a specific status in her community. Huh. I would love to see a behind the scenes featurette shooting this scene. All that water. Gotcha. Heretics. Are there options for different paths, though? Just true that. Yeah. 'Tis the cycle. Yeah. There you go. Wow, I could relate very personally to this moment. Listen, if you've never been a part of a community that restricts outside thinking to a degree where it's. Anyway, I'm just saying, I could relate. And the fight to get out of it is one hell of a thing. But like in every culture, you think what you're doing is the right thing. It's interesting. Crisis of conscience, huh? Faith over fact. ugh, it never ceases to just bother me that humans have died for simply wanting to think differently. Yeah, and when all the... Well, I think the first episode touched on that, right? So they're showing that he pretty much forewarned them. Okay, well, this is good. Now we're getting an idea here how she went from this to what we saw in episode 1, right? Oh. Oh, gosh, and they're all at the bottom. Ah, so she takes the books. Well, he did say he'd hold it for her. Or maybe not. What? Okay, yeah. Thought she was... Telling you, the visual eye candy. Some good candy. Alright, so here starts her journey with math and science. Oh, thank God for subtitles. I did not understand him with his accent. Of course. So while she's learning the math and stuff, they're just believing their God will save them and help them. And it's amazing how this passes on as a repetitive cycle in almost every civilization, right? Oh, right. The contest. Yes, yes. They better not rat her out. They probably will. Well, we obviously know she doesn't. Wow. Kudos to the production value of this show. It's just mesmerizing. I'm wondering if it's the same technology that The Mandalorian used, right? That dome-like green room. Seems to... Well, Apple has the money, so I don't see why not. But these actors, when they come to set, it must be just so overwhelmingly awesome for them. Really? At that point in time, they still had issues with her gender. Yeah, because I got plans for you, honey. From the moment you arrive, I got traps upon traps upon traps. In some way, as much as I love this backstory, I think the shock factor would have been higher if we did see this first and then everything that unfolded. It's a personal preference. Okay, I'm just saying. It's not that it's right or wrong. It's just what I would have preferred. Yeah. No surprise there. Like I said, if you've never been in a community like that, this sounds outrageous. But if you're familiar with certain cultures that are non-inclusive, pretty much, that's nothing for them. Indeed. So what she did there, right, to her cheek? You know what? That's quite merciful of her parents. I mean, some families couldn't bear the shame. They would delete their own kids, you know. All right. Woohoo! Okay, before, now. It's quite a isolated spot. You're alive! There's like no one there to greet her. Probably just watching her from inside the ship. Like, let's see what she's gonna do. Yeah, it's all coming back to her now. Oh, and the knife, of course. Why is there still blood splatter if the fluid was a... Okay. Someone's watching her. Trying to... Like, I thought the blood would kind of flush away, you know? Damn. They're probably watching her thinking, like, trying to figure out who she is, what she's all about, maybe? Why don't they talk to her through the intercom or something? Oh. What? Oh! Oh! They're expecting Raish. So the knife was part of the... Was it like a key? To open the door? Obviously. Okay, okay. So he was going to take that pod for himself and come here, and he'd put her instead. Is anyone even there? This is so cool. Wow. This reminds me of Tron a little bit. Ugh. So many visual styles borrowed from different things. Or inspired, you know. Right? Really? Okay. Lewis Pyrene. Oh shit. Yo, she time jumped. Equals 34 years? That's convenient. Okay, I don't know if that's in the books, but she's like at the same time frame that, yes, Terminus shit is happening, right? Oh, so she's gonna end up on Terminus at some point, and then yada yada yada. Okay, all right, so new narrative here. I can't deny the male eye candy in this show is satisfactory. Are they trying to test it? All right. Intimidation tactics. Better learn quick. Farah. Gotta remember her name. Farah. Who that? Oh. So the okay. Well, I guess now begins the war here. But that Farah chick, that's what she wanted. Yeah. Yeah. Look at her smiling. She's like, according to my plan. Probably shoot them down, maybe. Your besties. That's why they took it down. So one person says Paren, the other one says Pyrene. Okay. Step up, girl. And it has. It's like mini battles within one war. Farrah's planned out a lot of stuff, obviously. Alright, so for me, the viewer, for you, the viewer, it's all about figuring out her endgame. I can't help but wonder, like, is there food there? Ah! Okay, yes, yes, yes. Let's get some more info. Nice way to go about it. Oh, shit. So he's out there in space. He's counting on that, obviously. So, Gaal is obviously not the variable they could predict. But yet they still classified her as an accomplice, and he denied it, though. So even when he denied her involvement, they're like, yeah, nah, she's involved. Guilty by association, pretty much. Oh, you really want to watch that? That's like torturing yourself. Why? Okay. Because that's part of his plan. Oh, that's eerie. Is he like talking to Gaal? Oh, wow. Okay. So some of the puzzle, the pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together a little bit. A little bit. So he sacrificed himself. But, okay. Oh, let me pause so I can get my bearings before the rest of the stuff continues. So I'm at 3634. So what I'm understanding thus far, till further notice or your corrections in the comment section, is that Harry and Raish obviously planned his murder, okay? For another goal that I guess will be revealed later, but obviously it's not a real murder. But I don't think they accounted for Gaal showing up when she did. Hence, Raish is surprised that she was there, and he had to kind of think on his feet. And where he was going to end up in that pod to go to this place where she's at now, it's almost like as if pretty much Gaal put herself in a position to substitute the situation. As I've been kind of theorizing to some degree, Gaal is that unpredictable variable that will play its part. And because Harry can't predict, or Harry's formulations or his math cannot predict individual actions, that's for us as viewers to watch how her actions and actions of other characters like Salvor tie into the destiny that's kind of been formulated by, or predicted by Harry, right? The destiny of the Empire, the destiny of what likely will to come on a macro scale. So it's fascinating. So Raish pretty much just served his purpose with his own faith that he was grappling with. So that whole moment between that cry fest moment really in episode 2, it resonates stronger now. Anyways, really great way to kind of get me as a viewer to go back and watch episode 1 and kind of connect the dots a bit more. I like when they do that. So, anyways, I like it where it's going so far. I just hope they reveal more. That's all. Because the pacing is a bit, it's kind of slow. And if you're not interested in Gaal as a character and all that, I could see how this could be a very difficult watch for some people. But for me, it's fine. I resonate with her character. I think it's the stuff here on Terminus that's a bit confusing for me, but let's see. Okay, let's continue. And I won't pause unnecessarily unless I have to. All right. Starting at 3, 2, 1, play. All right. The pace is picking up, which is great. Action! Let's see some action. She faking? What the hell? Fuck. Is it a bomb? Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, it's shutting them down. Okay, obviously something bad's gonna happen there. Alright, now we found some stuff. How's she not starving? Guess her body isn't caught up with her in that sense. What is she trying to do? Oh no! Okay. Alright, well, she's like the main protagonist of the show. There's no way they're gonna delete her. Whoa. Nice. Nice. Hey, you want to impress me visually? You're doing a good job, Apple. Change of plans. Terminus? Oh, everything's programmed for Raish. And yada 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 yada. I guess she should be thankful she's authorized to that degree to do all this. Yay. Okay, that's the point. All right. Because I was like, why can't they just kind of not fast forward, but make this move a little further? But I know there are certain types of viewers that will like literally take every single word she says into account for something relevant to the books and all that. Hmm. And here is where. Was that supposed to be a surprise? Oh, okay, yes. But why would he... I guess he didn't want to take a chance whoever may have found this ship before he got there. They wouldn't know where it was going. What's that? Spacesuit? Oh my gosh, is she gonna go out in space? Just to see what? Oh gosh. Are they trying to like wipe out everybody on this planet just to prove a point to the Empire? Oh man. Kids, get out of there, yeah. Well, there goes my hopes to ally with them. Oh shit. Taking Salvo's mama? So does the Imperial ship have the necessary weaponry to stop them? Okay, I guess so. Old grudges. Deliverance. Whoa! That's all you meant. Are you sure? I'm just happy there's a lot more action. It's engaging. Good, good. Not really liking the camera work so much, but whatever, it'll do. Oh! Right in the jugular. Oh, okay. It was in her arm. I thought it was in her neck. Again. Her mom. The jumping back and forth with the cut, no like. It's a little too, it's not as refined as I'd like it. This is as much as I'd say. So she's assessing the destination. Okay, using the suit tech. Infrared. Oh, well, now you can see a lot. Is that a bad thing? Okay, so the goal is to... is it... She's trying to bring the war to Terminus? Oh, come on. So she's taking it out on them simply because it was the catalyst, in her opinion? Okay. So they didn't have the manpower to go up against the Empire on their own. Let's use the Empire's play toy, which is Terminus. Hugo! Oh shit, they're gonna take it down. Oh, that's gonna send a message to the Empire, all right. Ah. Oh, Salvar's gonna have it out with you now. Well, vengeance always has a consequence, so that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds for Madame Huntress. The knife. Wow. Helicon. Oh! Oh no! Shh. Oh my god. What? How's there a body she didn't notice? Or something with blood? Oh. What is this ship? What? Oh! Okay. That's quite an ending. I have a lot of thoughts racing through my head, of course. Okay, so... A lot of meat on these bones for this episode. Okay, my afterthoughts coming up. Woo-wee! This episode had a lot to break down. So right after recording this, I'm definitely going to be watching as many videos as I can find to understand the ins and outs of this episode. So what I'm going to do is just dive right into using my nap meter tool to help me express certain aspects of the episode that I appreciated or what I've noted, okay? And then I'll end off with sharing with you some of the key 3 scenes from this episode that I find memorable. All right, so if you're new here, I have what I call my nap meter tool. So it's a personal thing that I've made up, okay? It's nothing special. It's just a means for me to kind of express certain things about the episode in a structured format. So NAP is an acronym that stands for narrative, action, and pacing. So when it comes to the narrative, I have a few questions that I ask and then I'm going to kind of break down with you. So the first question is, were there details that move the overall story forward? Hell yeah! We found out more about what happened to Raish, what happened to Gaal, what happened to Harry. And if you were watching my reaction, I did have more questions that popped up with that. But of course, I'm presuming they're going to answer it in the series. So yes, in short, yes, there are a lot of details that move the story forward. And my next question is, was there a new development for at least one character in this episode? Obviously, the answer is Gaal. At the beginning of the episode, we dived right into Gaal's culture, her community. We got a pretty well executed breakdown about the factors that were involved in transitioning her from a faith-based mentality to a fact-based mentality related to science and math. I really appreciated that they didn't spend too much time on it. It was just enough for me to understand and appreciate where she was coming from and how it led up to where she is right now. Which leads to an easy answer to my third question related to the narrative, and that is, did the events in this episode add more insight to events that occurred in previous episodes? Hands down, yes, it did. Everything we've seen in this episode ties back to episodes 1 and 2, which I think is brilliant and the intention from the series, because I now want to go back and watch episodes 1 and 2 and connect some of those dots. And you're more than welcome to help me connect those dots in the comment section if there's anything from the books that is very much related to this episode. Now, the next component related to my nap meter is action. I am very satisfied with the action in this episode. So I have the choice of very little action, just the right amount, or too much. I think it was perfect. We had the necessary action required to understand Gaal's background at the beginning, okay? And then we moved on to Terminus, where there was a lot of action from the get-go, from people shooting stuff to a decently choreographed fight between Salvor and Farah. So when it comes to action, I wasn't disappointed. Which now leads me to the last component of my nap meter, and that is pacing. Was it too slow? Was it just right and steady? Or was it a little bit too fast? Unfortunately, in my personal opinion, I think the pacing was a bit jumbled. It's understandable that the part of this episode related to Gaal and her background, the pacing would be more on the slower end so that we can get more details that they were verbalizing. But when it came to Gaal on the ship by herself and trying to figure things out, the pacing was just a bit mixed and not as steady as I would like it to be. Especially around those scenes where she's trying to outsmart the computer. I think they went on just a bit too long with that. Maybe because I don't understand what she was talking about. So for me, it was kind of like snooze for a few seconds until she figured out that she was going to some place named Helicon, right? Harry's home world, where she's viewed as being guilty for his death. So basically, those sequence of scenes, I felt the pacing could have been a lot better. Now, when it comes to Terminus, I have mixed thoughts, and so I am very much looking forward to reading any comments about this part of the episode. Because on one end, I'm appreciative of the fact there was more action. We got to see what was going on with Farah and her intentions to bring down the Empire by using Terminus as a starting point. But if you watch my reaction, I did have somewhat of a gripe with the cut and how they were moving back and forth between Gaal on the ship, where things are quiet and slow-paced, to Terminus, where things were just moving really fast, the action was really hyped up. Which leads me to conclude for now that I think this episode would have benefited from simply focusing on Gaal and allowing the sequence of action that's happening on Terminus to pick up perhaps in the next episode, and perhaps maybe including the Cleon Empire's reaction to what's going on there. Because I think the intensity that was going on with Gaal and the intensity happening on Terminus wasn't the best blend to put into one episode. So I'm very much looking forward to your thoughts about that. If you disagree, break it down for me so I can get a different perspective. But at the moment in time, until I watch some more breakdown videos, that's kind of my thoughts in a general sense when it comes to the narrative component of this episode. So my Nat meter score for this episode is 4 out of 5. Now I'm going to share with you some of the key 3 scenes that I find very fascinating from this episode, to which I cannot wait to see how things are going to unfold. Obviously, the first scene that's going to be very memorable is the end scene. I got to give kudos to this series for having very good cliffhangers. Like, it's been cliffhanger after cliffhanger every episode that I find very appealing and brings up my optimism or enthusiasm to watch the next episode. So at the end of this episode, we see this, I guess, hologram of Harry's death. And, I mean, the fact that it shows up right there around that part of the ship, like, what would instigate that? All I could think of is that, obviously, what was happening in the room with Raish stabbing him, right? Because it's quite obvious that wasn't a real murder, was recorded. And so the fact that it projects itself there would likely be for Gaal to be informed about the inner plan between Harry and Raish. So that's what I think is likely going to happen in upcoming episodes. It seems very likely it's perhaps a pre-recorded situation to help Gaal understand what's really going on. And so it leads me to think back on episode 2, where Raish took that thing, some kind of thing behind Harry's ear. But I'm wondering, how did it end up there in a ship, right? Because I'm thinking that was probably what was recording what was happening in the room. Then how did it end up on the ship? If Raish didn't, anyways, maybe it's something he's able to kind of upload from where he was to the ship, right? Technology. Anyway, so either way, that ending part there, the last 5 seconds, is a memorable scene. The next scene that I find memorable from this episode is at the beginning when they are about to execute that man for learning about math and science, or pretty much going against their faith. If you were watching along with me, I had said out loud that I could relate very much to being a part of a community that excludes outsiders. Because I myself grew up in a community that's considered somewhat of a religious cult to the outside world. And so seeing Gaal's crisis of conscience in that moment that she was taking part in his execution, I was able to resonate quite strongly to that. But overall, I felt the way the scene was executed spoke volumes on so many things that we could relate to in general in our society today. And the last scene that is intentionally memorable by this series due to the amazing visual effects involved is the downfall of one of the Imperial ships on Terminus. Not only was that such a visual spectacle, the whole damn show is a visual spectacle to be honest, but the events leading up to that devastating moment for us to watch Salvor experience was well done to make it unforgettable. So, there you have it. That is my reaction and some of my key takeaways and my afterthoughts about episode 5 of Foundation. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this reaction video. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the Cleon Empire is going to react to what happened on Terminus. But until episode 6 comes around, I'm peacing out, tuning out. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos and subscribe. You know you wanna.